I think we can all agree that the internet is an exhausting place, and we all need to go outside sometimes in the wilderness and touch a tree and just realize that all of this exhaustion, all of this stupidity that we see on the internet, it's not real. But sadly, it might partially be. Listen, I know there's a lot of bots. There's definitely, like, the internet's full of bots. But the fact that they're becoming indistinguishable from actual living human beings is the scary part. And nobody does this better than Americans. And it is time to rip on the US because they just elected Trump. The Yeah, I'm not going to get into it. Let's get into it, but let's get into it, boys and girls. Uh she lives in Germany, bro. I've never felt this mentally well in my whole life. What a time to post this. Why? Are you willfully ignorant of the Supreme Court dismantling our freedoms, or are you conservative or just stupid? Or they live in a different country and they don't give a shit about American politics. America is not the center of the universe. The USA is like the Toronto of the Toronto of Canada. Google translates flags in non-English comments to the US flag. Foda de Mai. Translate to English. Too bad, American flag. What the hell? Google, you're drunk. Don't use a Spanish word because of US race issues. The word black in Spanish still don't sit right with me. The fact is, we don't use that word in bad ways. It doesn't matter. Don't say it, period. You're not black. Bro, it literally means a color. Yeah, Americans projecting their own stupid culture war issues onto the entire world is a thing. A subreddit called Politics, but it's only about U.S. politics. R/politics is for news and discussion about U.S. politics. Yeah, it should be R U.S. politics. TikTok users forget that some other countries haven't committed massacres. What are you doing to give stewardship of the land back to the people indigenous to it? I live in Ireland. Scottish person reported for homophobia. A pound of fag? Jesus, when I was in school, we sold them for 50 pence a fag. Inflation, man. Killer. Yeah, people should know this by now. Words have different meanings in different regions. Even sometimes words that in your area or region might be offensive, other places in the world is not. Since someone decided to report my comment as homophobic hate speech, I must clarify on a bloody Scottish subreddit that here, fag means cigarette, you fucking weapon. It has nothing to do with gays in this context. Get a grip. Further edit. Thanks to the gold, you numpty. Next time, get yourself a tin of Earn Brew and Greg's sausage roll instead of spending your hard-earned pennies on me. Classic. It's funny to me they've decided Americans are the only ones who might not realize they're foreigners. You know why this picture is hilarious? I'm pretty sure this is in Vancouver. I lived in Vancouver and I've been to this airport. I worked at this airport actually. I've seen, the aesthetic of their signs and stuff. I'm pretty sure this is at the airport in Vancouver. So you can see Canadian passports this way, foreign passports that way. Yeah, the Americans they got to put the American flag up next to foreign passports so they don't just stroll through thinking that they own the entire world. He literally isn't. With all the illegal acts that took place in the Clinton campaign and Obama administration, there was never a special counsel appointed. Interesting commentary coming from a felon. Then you must be really bad. He's your president. No. Just accept it and move on. Accept what? He's literally not my president. I'm Swedish. Oh boy. For an event on the 9th of July 2021, assuming the US is the worldwide format. Damn, Poland must be in some sort of time portal where time flows faster. Once again, this is something most of the rest of the world does, but yours. I can't with these. Sometimes you wonder, how are these people so ignorant? Listen, I've met people that aren't the Sharpest knives in the drawer. What is that saying anyways? Like sharpest knives in the drawer, the sharpest tool in the toolkit, whatever it is. Hey, I'm not the sharpest tool in the toolkit, but I don't celebrate my ignorance. Listen, everybody has degrees of ignorance. Everyone is ignorant in certain things. It's whether or not you combine arrogance with your ignorance, right? If you have some humility and you realize that the world is a big, big place with, countless cultures, countless different people and countries and cultural differences, and it's beautiful, and that's what makes the world so great. But to celebrate your ignorance, that's a whole different thing, and nobody does that quite like the Yanks. Hey, before I answer this, can you let me know if you're American real quick? Yes, I'm American. I just figured it doesn't make sense for smaller countries to be divided by states since they're already the size of a state. Oh, no. No. All right, next one. New rule for non-U.S. institutions. How can this be today when it's 7:45 a.m. and this says it happened at 11 a.m.? Hi there. We are the National Gallery in London. Maybe put that on your screen name. There's a National Gallery in Washington, D.C. Dim Kardashian. Yes, you are very dim. That's for sure. Dimmer than dumb. Celebrating a foreign holiday is a requirement. I'll never use your product unless you celebrate the 4th. We're Polish, sir. Nobody gives a shit about the 4th of July. Okay? Nobody cares. The audacity. The right to bear arms is universal. That's the recognition made by the Second Amendment. Is this guy saying the Second Amendment applies in other countries than the U.S.? Oh, that's like me. Actually, I reacted to a video recently of a dude in Canada, and he'd obviously been watching too many First Amendment audit videos. Like, those Americans who go around filming people just to bother them on purpose, knowing that, it's technically not illegal, but it's a dick move, but they like to do it anyways just to get clicks, which is, yeah, just as because something's legal doesn't mean that it's a good thing to do. This kind of reminds me of that because the dude, he's filming the Canadian police, and they got called for a suspicious person. He's sitting in his vehicle. He's outside like a building. I don't know if it's like a school or a recreation center or a gym or I don't know what it is, but he's sitting in his car filming, and he got called out. Somebody called 911 or the non-emergency line. I'm not sure, but somebody called the police and said, "Hey, this guy's suspicious. Can you check up on him?" And the police came and they asked him for his ID. Because they want to find out, you're the guy we got the call for, you're the suspicious person, and we have a right now. You're sitting behind the wheel of a vehicle, which in Canada, if you're operating a motor vehicle, even if you're just sitting inside of it, you need to show ID. And the dude starts spouting off all the rhetoric of like a First Amendment auditor, and he just gets completely owned. It's hilarious. If you want to watch that video, it's like a few videos ago on my channel. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. If you need a dose of Schadenfreude for the day, I'll put the link in the description. You can go check it out. So this guy's rights are being infringed here by the Australian government. On top of that, councils are a violation of your private property rights up to the line that you've infringed on someone else's property rights. Today I learned the American Constitution is universal. Brother. A very long drive. Okay, what is this? Hello, yes, 9999. I just ate a very moldy blueberry by mistake, and I'd like my tongue removed. 999? You mean 911? No, 999 is the emergency number in United Kingdom, right? Or is that in Germany? I think if I ordered an ambulance from America, I'd be a little bit scuppered since I live in England, and it's my awfully long drive. So the American commented, 999? You mean 911? Just because the States and quite a few number of countries, I think, use 911, but a lot of other countries use 999, such as England. And even and the thing is, like, you don't have to know everything, right? But instead of coming at it, framing it as, don't you mean 911? Can't you adjust your phrase and say 999? Is that an emergency number? Like, make an inquiry. Having an inquisitive mind is good. And that's what I talked about earlier. Like, being inquisitive and being open and humble to learning and understanding that other people around you have different experiences, different upbringings, different cultural backgrounds, different knowledge, and they know something that you don't and are smart about something that you don't. Everybody's a master at something. Everybody that you meet is a master and an expert on something. The cool thing about meeting people is finding out what are they an expert in? What are they a master at? What are they really knowledgeable about? Right? Like, sometimes it's not going to be the most interesting thing, but it's going to be something. And you have that too. But to come at it like this with a lack of humility, I think is where some people get frustrated with not just Americans, but ignorant people in general. Not sure if this counts, believing US laws apply to the whole world. Nice try, but slavery is illegal. Has been since 1865, actually. United States laws certainly apply all over the world, don't they? Sarcasm is palpable. I'd like you to show me exact line in the 13th Amendment that says this only applies to the U.S. Like, that can't be real. That can't be real. This can't be real. What are the comments on this one? I don't know the line where it says this in the U.S. Constitution. Here's the 13th Amendment. I've highlighted a part that I thought might be relevant. Section 1. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Subject to their jurisdiction. Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. I'm willing to bet they think the whole world is subject to their jurisdiction. That's exactly what I was thinking, dude. Oh, boy. Canadian dude names Georgia as a country. Americans rush to mock his answer. So these are like those videos, you know, that you'll see on the internet, like, Americans can't answer basic geography questions. This fits right into that genre of video. Is Georgia a country now? Country of Georgia, everybody. Google's your friend. Isn't Georgia a state? Yeah, Georgia is a state in the United States, but it's also a country in Europe, Eastern Europe. I have a friend who's actually originally from Georgia. What's going online is like, what going online is like for Americans versus the rest of the world. I've noticed lately that it's often Americans who leave tags like, I don't even care if it's made up, on posts I make that are not particularly unbelievable, but are pretty specific to my way of life or corner of the world, like the one about the cheese vendor. It reminds me of that tweet that was circulating that said Americans have, quote unquote, medieval peasant scale of worldview. I mean, if you don't want to be perceived this way by the rest of the world, maybe don't go around social media saying that if a cultural concept or way of life sounds unfamiliar, it must be made up. It's the imbalance that's annoying. This kind of fits into what I was talking about a few minutes ago. Because, like, when I mentioned having no mobile network around here, I had people giving me info about Verizon to fix my problem. I post some rural pic, and someone says it must be somewhere in the Midwest because the Southwest doesn't look like this. My post about the postwoman has thousands of Americans assuming it's about the USPS. Yeah, like, it beggars belief sometimes how ignorant people are. And, like, all jokes aside, like, it's fun to rip on Americans, people from the United States. There's plenty of amazing, smart, humble people in the United States, just like there is in every other country in the world. And every other country in the world, there's plenty of stupid, ignorant people as well. But nobody quite does it like the States. Nobody quite does it. Lol, I'm not really understanding the hate around this show. Egypt is obviously in Africa, so she could have been African American. We have no idea what she looked like, so we can't assume. She should have been African American. Take a moment to think about what you said there. Yeah. The Americans really have a long way to go with the whole... They struggle with the language and, like, the whole cultural war and this, like the woke, people that use woke all the time versus the people that are, like, anti-woke. Like, all that cultural war stuff is so frustratingly surface level. Yeah. It's all basically comes down to, like, a lot of it is, like, just semantics. and people being willfully ignorant. Like it's frustrating. All right, I'm gonna leave it at that for the day. I just thought I'd try this one out, and we'll see you on the next one.